Mother, tell your children not to walk my way.
Hello all, and this is Truthslayer, and welcome to another video. And this video is going to be something people have been requesting somewhat. This is going to be kind of my take on it, though. For a while now, people have been asking me if I could list, like a top 10 of my favorite pay-per-views of all time. Well, due to time constraints, I'm not going to be able to do 10, but I can do a top 5. But I'm not going to do pay-per-views. I'm going to do best shows or events, because I don't want to limit it to just U.S. pay-per-views, because I don't think that's fair, or pay-per-views in general, because I think you need to include shows, because I really do feel that there's some shows out there that rank right up there to any pay-per-view that most of you should see. So this will be a top 5. Probably you've heard of every single one of these except one. And when I get to that one, I will explain what it is. But let's go down. This list will probably surprise a lot of you. But let's get started with number 5. And this will probably be a shock, and this will kind of show you where we're going here. Wrestlemania 17, Wrestlemania X-7. Yep, that's number 5. Without a doubt, in my opinion, the best WrestleMania of all time, and what every WrestleMania should try to be. It was entertaining. I was there live, and I loved it. It was probably the best thing I've ever been to in my life. And then when I watched it on television after it was taped for me, I had even a greater respect for it, because it was really good. You had a good crowd. You had good matches. Everything was fun. Everything was entertaining. It was everything WrestleMania should be, because WrestleMania should be both entertaining and wrestling. It should be sports entertainment, in my opinion. That's what WrestleMania should be, and to a larger degree, this is what it was. The only real low point I felt on the night, I kind of was, for those of you that have never seen it, was the gimmick battle royal, which I thought was fun, so I could kind of go away with that. But you got, TLC 3-way, which was an amazing match. You have Austin versus Rock, which was an amazing match. You had Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit for the first time, which was really, really good. Or was it the first time? I think it was the first time. And it, everything was good. China finally, winning the world's title. Shane McMahon versus Vince McMahon was everything it should have been. I mean, it was just, everything was really good. And then you went to the main event where Steve Austin and The Rock put on a great match, which had a great story to it, and it was very interesting to watch. Steve Austin basically changed from a face to a heel, even in a town like Houston, which is kind of his hometown, and he was able to do it. And I gained even more respect for Steve Austin due to that. So that's number 5. So number 4 is Great American Bash '89, which is probably a pay-per-view none of you have probably ever seen. So I will run down the card so you can kind of understand. There was a $50,000 2-ring battle royal. The way this worked is they put 2 rings side by side. They had a battle royal. You got eliminated from one, you went to the other. It's kind of like World War III in a way, which was interesting and gimmicky, but it kind of worked, and it was fun to see. Then you had Bill Irwin versus Brian Pillman, and it was okay. Dynamic Dudes versus Skyscrapers, that's good stuff right there. Probably one of the real highlights of the night was Paulie Dangerously versus Jim Cornette in a tuxedo match. This was a big time feud at the time, so this is a historic match. Kevin Sullivan and Mike Rotundo versus the Steiner Brothers, another good one. Great Muta versus Sting. How can you go wrong there? Ricky Steamboat versus Lex Luger. You can sort of see this was, War Games match on top of all of that, which was the Freebirds and Samoan SWAT team versus the Midnight Express, Steve Williams, and the Road Warriors. Yeah, that rocked. And the main event was Terry Funk versus Ric Flair. Yeah, that rocked too. So yeah, that was pretty much the best U.S. pay-per-view I've ever seen in my life. And yeah, I really liked that. So there you go. Then we're going to go a little odd for number 3. Number 3 is the IWA Mid-South's Ted Petty Invitational 2004 tournament. This is a tournament that they put on every year. It's a very, very good tournament. This one contained 24 wrestlers from around the country. It's a 6, if you get the DVD, it's 6 DVDs, so it's pretty long, to be completely honest. and contains 31 matches altogether. So it's just a huge, and there's lots of good stuff on there. I can't even go into going into how good this is. This is probably one of the best shows I've ever seen. It's 2 nights, which seems kind of weird that I would be adding this to this, but I did feel that was fair. Because this is really good, and I recommend anyone checking this out. This was undoubtedly the best of these tournaments they've ever put on. Some of Joe was in this. There was lots of guys in this. I would definitely go. If you go to smartmarkvideos.com, they sell this. It's $40. Seems real expensive, but it's 6 DVDs. So yeah, you kind of get the idea. From there, we go to a show that most of you have probably heard about. Don't know if many of you have actually seen it, which is Super J-Cup 1994. This was a tournament of juniors in Japan in 1994, the first kind of its kind in a way, because it included guys outside of New Japan, even though New Japan hosted it. Some of the guys that were in the tournament were Dean Malenko, Super DeFlynn, Taka Michinoku, Black Tiger, who was Eddie Guerrero, El Samurai, Negro Casas. Featured in the opening round, it featured Hayabusa versus Jushin Liger, which was a big match at the time, and you also had Grace Sasaki and Chris Benoit as well, and the main event was Liger versus Benoit, which was a 5-star match. So you can automatically see that this was one night amazing, one of the best, probably the best tournament I've ever seen in my life. Really good. If you've never checked this out, definitely go check this out. High Spots sells this. HighSpots.com sells this for a pretty reasonable price. You can find it other places for cheaper too if you look. But again, this was a really good tournament that I would recommend anybody checking out, which gives us to number 1, and number 1 is going to freak some of you out, but let me go down this. This was one of the biggest cards of the 90s. It pretty much was a super show featuring numerous promotions in Japan. This was a Japanese show, and was actually a week event. There was two shows in this event, and this is the first one. And features 2 5-star matches. Yeah, 2 legit 5-star matches, one of which is probably one of the best matches of the 90s, and probably one of the best matches of all time. This is, without a doubt, in my opinion, the best show I have ever seen. I have never seen anything this good. The wrestling is amazing. Everything is just stunningly amazing. I would put this against anything in the world, and what makes this amazing is it's women's wrestling. That's right. This was an All Japan women's event, but it featured many Japanese female wrestlers from Japan, for different promotions. It's DreamSlam 1. The second night was DreamSlam 2, which was later that week, which is also, if I did a top 10, that would be in the top 10. That should tell you how good these shows were. These were amazing shows. These matches I would put up against any men's matches. These were amazing, and without a doubt is the best show I've ever seen in my life. Definitely go check this out. DreamSlam 1. It is kind of hard to find on DVD. The only place I've ever been able to find it is Puro, P-U-R-O, DVD.com. Is the only place I've been able to find it. It is an amazing show. It's one of those shows, when I first got on the internet, you always heard about Super J-Cup 94, and then if people felt like they could trust you, then they would recommend DreamSlam 1. They said, you need to go check this out, you need to look at this. It's women's wrestling, but you gotta look. And you'd flip it in and you'd start watching, and usually it was about two complete tapes, and you'd stick it in there and your mouth would just be jaw-dropping. If you go to a ring mistress, who I've recommended you all to go to, she has a couple of the matches up. Just a couple. She doesn't have the whole card, unfortunately. I wish she did, but she doesn't. But yeah, I honestly, I cannot do this card justice by talking about it. This is just an amazing card. I would recommend anybody go and check this out. There you go. There's my top 5. Hope you guys enjoy. Have a good one.